Hi folks, Jax here, and I've got a special treat for you Hex fans today. I've actually set up my MWS to be able to play some Hex decks. Woohoo, even got the cards proxied up and everything. Because of the digital nature of some of the cards, I've had to think of ways to use those mechanics in a Magic style deck, which doesn't usually account for that. But in this particular matchup, I think I've accounted for everything, so we should be able to have a pretty legitimate match. So before I start, I'm going to look through all the cards in the decks to let you know what's playing against what. The two decks are a mono blood control deck that I've come up with against a mono ruby burn aggro deck that Function came up with and posted. I'll provide a link to his video. But anyway, the mono blood deck, 24 blood sources, nothing fancy there. We've got 4 Bone Warriors, which is a 2-cost 1/2. If it would die, it transforms into a pile of bones, and pile of bones can't attack or block, but you can pay 4 to turn it back into a Bone Warrior, so it's a pretty hard to get rid of creature. Corrupt Harvester is a 3/3 life drain for 4. This troop can't be blocked except by artifact troops and or blood troops, so he's got life drain, he's fairly big, and he can get past creatures. Warlock Inquisitor is a 3/1 for 3. It's got a major socket in this one. I've given it Rage 2. And when it dies, it goes to your hand and it gets a permanent +2 cost. So basically, it comes back for free. Well, it comes to your hand for free, which is pretty good. Blood Harbinger, which is a 2-cost 3/1. And when it dies, the opposing champion can choose to pay 5 life. If they do, they just pay the life. If they don't, you can search your deck for another Harbinger. Extinction is a 5-mana basic action which destroys all troops, so it's a board sweeper. Murder is a 3-mana quick action, destroy target troop, pretty straightforward. Relentless Corruption is a 3-mana basic action. You put the top card of the opponent's deck into your hand, the threshold of the cards becomes 1 blood, and then you escalate the Relentless Corruptions in your deck, so the number, in this case 1 initially, gets doubled, so the second time you play it becomes 2, third time is 4, and so on. Terrible Transfer is a 5-mana quick action. It deals 1 damage to target troop for each blood threshold you have, and you gain 1 life for each damage dealt. So basically it kills a creature and keeps your health nice and strong. Zombie Plague is a 2-mana constant. At the start of your turn, you add a plague counter to it. Then you reveal a random troop from the opposing champion's deck for each plague counter on it, and those troops get permanent -1, -1. And if the defense gets reduced to 0, that way you get a 2/2 zombie to put into play under your control. Or rather, you get that creature and it turns into a zombie. In the sideboard, I've just got the pile of bones. Of course, Magic Workstation stopped working, that's kind of annoying. I'm not actually going to restart recording because Magic Workstation has been pretty fickle and picky about how it wants to run these proxies, so I'm not going to try starting the recording 10 more times to get a perfect one. Pile of bones, so that's what the Bone Warrior turns into. This troop can't attack or block, transform into Bone Warrior. 2/2, when it dies, void it, 3-cost. Rage 2 gem, just leave on the battlefield to prove that I'm using a Rage 2 gem in my Warlock Inquisitor. Yep, and it shut down again. You can tell the Magic Workstation hasn't been updated in, I think, about 6 to 8 years. Funnily, it never crashes when I'm playing Magic, just when I'm trying to do custom stuff. Alright, so the mono ruby burn deck, 22 ruby sources, 4 Savage Raiders, 2/1, can't block, pretty straightforward. Malfunctioning Warbot, I've heard that this has been changed to something like a 2/2/2, but this is the copy that we've got, so we're just going to go with it. It's a 1-mana artifact troop. At the start of your turn, deal 1 damage to a random champion. Ruby Pyromancer, 2-cost, 2/1, Inspire, as another creature with 2 or greater cost enters the battlefield, it gets +1 attack, permanent +1. Emberspire Witch, 2 cost, Swift Strike, And champions... okay. I thought a 2-2 with champions can't gain health and Swift Strike for 2 was a little bit powerful. And I just noticed then that Swift Strike was in green, which indicates it doesn't actually have Swift Strike. It's entered the battlefield and something else is given this Swift Strike. Given that I've put that 2 in there on the picture, given the original card had a +1 power and Swift Strike, I feel like there's a red quick action or something, like Ruby Strike, which is +1 and Swift Strike. So yeah, that's probably what it is. Okay, so Ember Spire, which doesn't have Swift Strike. Shoot, go away, we're not going to play with that. It's 2-2, champions can't gain health. It's still alright, but I don't know if Function will still include it once he finds out. Ragemonger is a 3-1, 3 mana. It's got speed, it attacks each turn if able, and whenever it attacks, target troop can't block. So it's on curve, it attacks straight away, and it takes the blocker out, so it's pretty good. Burn to the Ground is an Expel card, deal X damage to target champion or troop. Pretty straightforward, pump all your mana into it to burn to the face or kill a creature. Burn, 1 mana, deal 2 damage to target champion or troop. Ragefire is 2 damage to target champion or troop as a basic action for 2 mana. It's got escalation, just like the Relentless Corruption in the Blood deck did. And Inferno is a 3 mana constant. At the start of each champion's turn, deal 3 damage to that champion. So basically just stays around, burns both players, starts by burning the opponent first, so you're hoping they die before you do. And they should, because you're playing the burn deck. In the sideboard, we've got 4 Ember Spire Witches that have been affected by the Zombie Plague. Basically, I wouldn't be able to affect the ones in the library or keep track of the ones that have been weakened, so I'll take them out of the sideboard and put them in. But if it comes up, I'll get to it. But yes, no Swift Strike. Besides that, I think we're fine to start the game. So I'll load up Mono Blood Control, get the Solitaire loaded, load the Ruby deck into the opponent's deck, and start. Alright, Ruby deck's up top, Blood deck's down the bottom. I'll do 2 rolls, Blood first and Ruby. Got an 8 for Blood, 1 for Ruby, so Blood will go first. Let's look at the hand. It's interesting. The Relentless Corruption presents card advantage. But the problem is I've got 2 blood sources, so in my first 3 turns I'll get 2 draws, and I pretty much have to draw 1. If I can draw 1, I'm pretty confident out of those corruptions, and my next draw I'd be able to get a source, be it Ruby or Blood, but we'll find out. Alright, I'm gonna keep. Ruby deck, 3 Ruby sources, 2 Infernos, Burn to the Ground, Savage Raider, seems fine. No worries there. Gonna create a token for each player, which is the champion charge. For my deck, I'm gonna use the champion that 2 charge and 2 life to draw a card. And for the Ruby deck, it's the 3-1 Blaze Elemental for 3 charges. I'll also view my sideboard and get that Rage 2 gem out, so you know I'm not lying. Play Blood Source, get a charge, pass the turn. Play Ruby Source, and a charge count, or charge, and play Savage Raider. Pass. Play a Blood Source, and a charge. I did draw a Blood Source, so that's fantastic. I'll be able to do everything now. And play a Blood Harbinger. Pass turn. Now that I've noticed that they're being aggressive, like, assuming I didn't know what the deck was before, unfortunately I know everything, but I've seen they're playing an aggressive deck. I'm going to hold off using my draw and life ability. It's a bit of a liability against the aggressive deck, so I've got to gain control first. So already, draw a card, play a source, got a couple options. I can play Ragefire, get rid of the blocker. Could play a Malfunctioning Warbots, get some more damage in next turn. Few options indeed. I could play the Burn to the Ground for 1, and the Malfunctioning Warbot. Doesn't seem like a bad idea. Let's do that. So I'll play Burn to the Ground for 1, lose 5 life. Attack with the Savage Raider, and then play the Malfunctioning Warbot. Now we've got options here. We can play the Bone Warrior, which will be able to block efficiently, or we can play Relentless Corruption to draw some cards. Now I'm really going to need to get that Corrupt Harvester out, so the Relentless Corruption will let me dig, or rather dig into the opponent's deck, and Bone Warrior would help keep alive. I think I've got to risk the 3 damage here and play the Relentless Corruption. Alright, so we'll take the top card of their deck. It's Ruby Source, alright. I can't actually put it in my hand because Magic Workstation doesn't work like that, so I'm just going to leave it out and then shuffle that. Well, first I need to copy that. To keep track of escalation, I'm going to keep this escalation counter. And it's on 1 thus far, so I'll put that down there. Put that on the library and shuffle it away. Pass the turn. Of course, like a noob, I completely forgot that the champion's about to hit 3 charges. It's the 3rd charge, counter, get rid of them all. Get a 3/1 Blaze Elemental out, which looks mysteriously like a beast. Do the Malfunctioning Warbot, I forgot if it's even Blood takes it. Attack with all 3 for 6. This guy's going to die at the end of turn. Play 3 for Inferno and a very grim board state. How much life is it? 3 life? Jeez. Lose 3 life. Draw a card. Can play the Ruby Source I got last turn. Now I think this will make for a blood threshold, but who knows. It changed the threshold of each card to blood, but does that... Sources don't have a threshold, they provide a threshold. Who knows, who knows. We'll play the Relentless Corruptor, not that, Corrupt Harvester. And pray that we can bash and stabilize. If we can get a Terrible Transfer, that'll certainly help. Take 3. If it's even, Blood takes it. Nope, draw a card. Play a Ruby Source. Give the wrong person a charge, get rid of their... get rid of their charge counter. I'm pretty sure we've got this. Can't attack, because that will give me life. All we have to do is burn an Inferno, and then at the start of the next turn we've won. Although burns are quick actions are the safer thing to do. But they're tapped out. Alright. So play the Inferno, so at the start of the next turn they're going to take 6. Play the burn, 2/2 damage. Interesting side note, you may notice that these are the same pictures at this stage. I'm sure that'll get fixed in the future. Start turn, wham, 6 damage. I do think that the blood deck is at a disadvantage against the Ruby deck. This may change as cards are spoiled and everything, but I've done 4 games thus far, and the Ruby deck has won 3 of them, including this one. So it is getting the upper hand over the blood deck. It just seems to be able to kill it fast enough before the blood control can stabilize. But yeah, there you go. You've got to see a game. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the start, but Magic Workstation is not very cooperative with this Hex side of things I'm trying to do. But yeah, there you go. That's a deck showing for you all, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to bringing you some more in the future. Alright, catch you guys later.